Good. Tons.
Welcome to 1975, Austin Powers and Forza. Excuse me while I change. The holler buggy has made me sweaty. Yeah, sweaty. You see, Mr. Powers, I love gold. The look of it, the taste of it, the smell of it, the texture. I love gold so much that I even lost my genitalia in an unfortunate smelting accident. Hence the name Goldmember.
Do you expect me to talk?
Hello and welcome to episode 210 of Do You Expect Us to Talk? I'm Becca and I was always joined by my fellow film fans, Chris and Dave. How are you both?
Got a bit late getting here, I'm afraid. I took ages locating Shaggywa.
I'm feeling groovy, baby, yeah.
Are you? Is your but are our dicks enormous?
That tickled me. Dear oh dear.
Well, I'm hundreds of miles away, so I guess yes is the answer.
Well, buckle up because we're about to meet the twins later on.
Yes, we can see the twins!
I thought you meant, because we were talking about dicks and you said the twins, I assumed you meant like the testicles. They're up later.
Dear oh dear.
Or maybe Becca was talking about her. I mean,
Are unmentionables? Yes.
No, I did it in Revelation. Because I obviously watching this years ago at the cinema, and then obviously watching Strictly as you do, you watch the American version, and I was like, "It's Carrie-Anne Moss! Oh my god!" I didn't realise it was her, so I was a little bit like, "Who?"
Oh, okay,
so yeah, which I didn't realise anyway. So yeah, today I learned a fact that is about 20 years old. So, but never mind.
Is it 20 years old? Is this film nearly 20 years old?
It came out in 2002.
It's nearly, yeah.
Around July, August time, I'd just moved back to my hometown and went to see it. I don't know how long it had been out when I went to see it, although I went during like a weekday during the day, so there weren't many people there. But that's not evidence it was. That's not evidence it was late out. So let me just have a look.
I think I was at college at the time. I went to go sit with a load of friends, and it was just bawdy, wasn't it? And
well, generally speaking, because I don't know if this means US, UK, or what. It's July the 26th release. That does sound about right.
Oh, smash it! Summer movie.
Yeah. The budget for this film is nearly as big as the take for the first film, and the box office is a shade behind the second film, 296.7 million.
And they could afford all its lead stars, or not they couldn't before, but all the celeb cameos and.
They managed to get enough money to entice the star of Jaws 4: The Revenge.
He'll forever be known for Jaws 4: The Revenge.
Yeah, and Mindy Sterling before she was famous. Yeah.
When we ever do Jaws. Looking forward to it.
We are doing Jaws at some point. Anyway, what are we covering tonight, Becca?
If you hadn't guessed, tonight we are reviewing Austin Powers in Goldmember, starring Mike Myers, Beyonce, Michael Caine, Michael York, Robert Wagner, Seth Green, Ben Troyer, Fred Savage, Carrie-Anne Moss, and many more cameos. Original music by George Clinton, written by Mike Myers, Michael McCullers, and directed by Jay Roach, and released 2002.
So for anyone who hadn't picked that up off the name of the show they started playing, when we mentioned Dick's Enormous earlier, we weren't comparing penis size. It was a reference to this film.
You don't say. And obviously there are a pair of naughtily named Japanese twins. That's what I was referring to, not anything else.
Mm.
I'll have you know. Thank you very much.
So be reassured that we only compare penis sizes off air.
Whatever you guys do is your own.
But Becca loses.
It's your own business.
Time, but sadly not by a lot.
Oi.
All right. So 2002's Austin Powers in Goldmember. I think there was, unlike the second film, there was never any doubt this was going to happen. The second film had been such an enormous hit. Bit like Die Another Day, they took an extra year's gap to ensure quality, which obviously worked so well for Die Another Day. But remember, this comes out before Die Another Day.
And this film has Michael Caine, so...
Didn't Jay Roach do Meet the Parents as well, between this?
Yes, he did. He did Meet the Parents in 2000, which probably does partially explain the sort of extra year's gap if you were going to expect it sort of a further 2 years on. Meet the Parents is sullied a little bit by two really crap sequels, but the first time you ever see Meet the Parents is kind of funny. It really is. I remember it was real cringe comedy because, you know, him going through like a really bullying future father-in-law and everything he's trying to do or say just screws up. So it's kind of funny. But anyway, do we want to get on with this tonight?
Yes.
Cue us up, count us in.
We're going straight into it, are we? Okay.
Yeah, well, in a minute, I'm looking up Susanna Hoffs for research purposes at first.
Fair
Right,
enough.
okay. Done with
Okay.
that.
I'm done.
And I'm spent. All right. Are we all ready to hit play?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so counting us down. Go on, or count us up. Let's count up. And we'll go on the three. So playing in 1, 2, and 3.
I may be a little bit fast.
You will. You'll be a little bit ahead of us because you started on the New Line logo and I'm not even at that yet. It's just
No, I can pause it if you want.
And also she's on the DVDs, and UK DVDs run quicker. So by the end of this film, she'll be 3 minutes
And
ahead.
I'm watching on Amazon Prime, which if you're in the UK, you can watch all the Austin Powers films on.
Yeah.
So you can watch it with us.
Shagadelic, baby.
Somewhere in Utah. I just remember this finding.
Yeah, somewhere in Utah.
I can hear the music in my head. I wonder how much of the spending on this film was this sequence.
I think it probably was a lot. Did he do his own stunts?
Almost certainly.
Yes.
Well, given Tom Cruise is playing him at this point, I suppose it's possible.
I mean, the thing is, though, I kind of want to watch this version of Austin Powers.
Yeah. Locating Jaguar.
See,
Locating Jaguar now.
See, this is like, I think if, you know, to give this film credit, I think they knew this is going to be the last one. So they kind of did the thing where they experimented with a few things. They went all out with the gags and references. And
Yeah, kind of really pushed the boat out, didn't they? I think.
I think it is fair to say they must have known this is the last one.
Yeah, because like I know they talk about maybe doing a fourth, but I just can't see it. I can't see it working.
Well, I think factor in a little bit of inflation, take off a little bit for a bit of skepticism. I think a fourth one would still take money.
Yeah.
How could they do it though? They'd have to kind of balance. Would they do kind of like dark and gritty parody, or they have to do like totally shadow, 60s psychedelia?
Well, the thing is, you could think they would almost make the same fucking film. It's just like
Yeah, they'd have to do the
20
same.
years on.
But would it work? Would it still be funny?
And I love the fact that this whole action sequence is meant to be like a tiny little Hollywood backlot.
Yeah.
Although it's probably just this shooting this bit, but yeah.
So yeah, Austin Powers it is perfect casting. Like to do like a parody. Like the only other person you could probably like change over someone else is Gwyneth Paltrow, but she actually does a really good job. Whether you like her or hate her or whatever.
She was a big star at this stage.
Yeah.
She was.
This is before she sort of went professionally into like fanny smells. And like
she's had a bit of a change of career since, hasn't she?
FBI agent / single mother.
But still sexy.
With a pout at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that at the end.
Shagna. Oh, Austin, behave. I just look. Yeah.
Oh God, I forgot about Kevin Spacey.
What is the plot of this? We're not at this yet. He's kissing her, and now he's talking. It's Kevin Spacey as Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah, we'll just skip that part.
I mean, at the time, perfect.
Again, at the time, he's like a double Oscar winner, and just like, and he managed to sort of balance commerce with like doing things that were interesting to him. I mean, I think most people would have taken Spacey's career at this point.
Wouldn't take it now.
Spielberg.
And cut.
And Danny DeVito as Mini-Me.
I love the fact that
That's funny. That's
I love the fact that he was clearly.
But who else would you get, though? That's the thing.
Well,
But
exactly.
he
Who
was
else
holding a
could do
real
it?
cat there, and yet when they yelled cut, it was clearly a prop. So it's just movie magic. A movie of my life. And I have to say, I laughed. Not only the two women stood
God.
behind him are desperately like fancying him. You can see that.
Yeah, they love it.
And then it launches into this dance sequence, which is just amazing.
It's amazing. I love the fact that everybody knows the moves.
That's prop Kevin
Hit it.
Spacey.
Right, yeah, well, he's bound to behave himself unsupervised offset.
And who knew Spielberg could do a backflip?
I'm still not sure that was him.
No, I don't think it was.
Here we go. As I say,
It's
you're
done.
running ahead because he's doing the flip now.
I am. I'm a little bit ahead. Should I pause it?
Yeah,
No. It'll probably catch up in a bit.
Wait, no. If she's ahead, how's she going to catch up? If she's
Oh,
already
yeah,
ahead?
true.
I'll travel back in time.
I suggest, listeners, you just enjoy yourselves and don't worry about it.
It's fine.
And I've always had mixed feelings about the fact we go into we don't go into Britney Spears. That's not right. But this whole it does feel a bit like Coming to America, where it's like, look at the celebrities we can get.
Well, yeah, I mean, this the thing is, that's what I mean by it. It's the last one, so let's just throw everything at it.
But if you suddenly go on and do a fourth, it suddenly becomes a bit more obnoxious in retrospect, and B, like, will the fourth one be even more than this?
Yeah.
Quincy Jones is that woman who was in The Office, the American Office.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Is it Rashida Jones?
Yes.
Rashida Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her dad. I don't
Yeah.
realise that till a year or two ago. Again, I'm now looking up Rashida
Why do they
Jones
have like
for
these films
research
have a tradition
purposes.
of like, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bert Bacharach, Mr. Elvis Costello. You know, they've got a tradition of doing that, and obviously Britney is no exception.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Britney.
Well, it appears that way, doesn't it? It does appear that way. And the trouble is, the longer she's sort of away with, no, it's not our business really, but this whole
No,
bit
it's
of her
difficult.
being held against her will. But there's also court papers have even mentioned dementia with her, and you think, really? That can't be
Yeah,
right.
I watched that
but-
documentary and was like, are you sure? But anyway, you know, you can't deny that she was a star
star
basically.
for a
And, you know,
couple of
it's kind of like one of the highest points in her career. So
Yeah,
during the
she's
boys'
probably-
era,
She's
so.
probably just coming down off her peak at this point.
And you could tell that they weren't in the same room.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, she's got machine gun jubblies. It's be too dangerous.
she's a
for me.
fembot, don't you know? Oh my gosh.
And it's quite impressive the amount. But I love the fact he just goes down in front of the camera and just comes up as him now, and it's like it's very Naked Gun.
It is very
Leslie
much so.
Nielsen used to do that all the time, and the problem is I can't watch You Only Live Twice now without seeing it. Where like he's on the docks and he jumps down onto that like padded bed thing and then falls
And a
off the
stuntman
side and
jumps
then
out.
up pops Sean Connery.
Yeah, it is very Naked Gun style.
I like the way he's like hyperventilating as he's.
Yeah, it's hard work, Chris. Up in the Hollywood Hills. I think we're about to get to plot.
Yes, this is the Basil exposition.
Yeah.
The
And
Hollywood
it's just
layer.
Yeah.
Uh,
Holly-
Now,
yeah,
Frank
followed
Obispo
out
has
Hollywood
done
layer.
her hair, so she's now like sexier and that.
Yeah.
Well, she's all business.
Robert, at this rate, Robert Wagner will be inviting her out for a boating trip.
Oh gosh. Oh dear.
Yeah, this is like kind of interesting. Like, what are my favourite random gags that lead to nowhere? It's them all.
Chop it up and make some guacamole.
Yeah.
I'm
There,
not
there.
at that yet. As I say, it's still.
Yeah, no, I'm not either.
Oh no, he's walked in now. Here we go.
That's a lot later. So
I don't know whatever happened to Fred Savage's career. You know, I suppose he couldn't have got much more in the public eye than he was. I suppose the only way he was down from that because the Wonder Years was not only was the Wonder Years massive, but he was in quite a few hit films around that. You know, when he was a child.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Being a child star burnt him out. I don't know.
Yeah. Vice versa with Judge Reinhold.
Oh my gosh.
I'll do another Freaky Friday.
I was going to say, was that meant to be a remake of Freaky Friday?
It reminds me of, where Alan Partridge is with Tony Hayers and he's going, Bergerac, Morse, what does that tell you about regional detective shows? There are too many of them? Well, it could be that, but it could also be people like them, let's make some more of them. And it was the same with the body swap comedies in the 80s and 90s. There were 70s, 80s and 90s, there were loads of them. And you think, what must the pitch meeting of that been like? You know what I mean? So, right, they swap into each other's bodies. And it's like, that's a great idea.
But didn't Die Hard have that? Because it was basically Die Hard, but in a...
Oh, yeah, I know. Hang on, this sounds like the plot of Die Hard. I thought that, but then I noticed it's on a boat.
You don't say.
Oh, okay. Is it Christmas? No. Oh, away we go then.
Die Hard, but on a plane.
Yeah.
This time, it's the president.
Yeah, Cliff High.
That sounds amazing.
Die Hard on a mountain.
It's the president.
Yeah.
And that just looks like shit on Mini-Me's face. It's kind of...
Yeah. He spent hours in makeup,
Well, he would have done, to be fair, for the whole effect. Yeah, Vern Troyer had alcohol problems, and in between all that, like, a sex tape of his leaked or something. Now, you could argue about the sense of doing that sort of thing, but the fact is, he was apparently devastated when that happened. And he just slipped further and further into alcoholism, and it was acute alcoholic poisoning that killed him.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah.
God.
Here we go, though. There's another Miss Dr. Evil scene that's just going on far too long.
Yeah, I don't...
How many minutes has this been banging on now?
Yeah.
Well, he's doing
This particular scene isn't really a favourite of mine, to be honest. I do think it does go on a little bit too long.
He's doing the zip it thing, isn't it? But again, they're bringing it to a close. Like, oh no, it's going tired now, and it's getting to Scott, which makes him lose his hair, makes him go crazy and evil.
I mean, I do enjoy the film, but Dr. Evil's been a problem for me. Not a problem for me, because you need to have him or something like him there. But every scene in all three films with him in has been too long.
I think, to be honest, the problem here is Goldmember himself. He's just, as a new character, he just falls flat.
Yeah, it just as a pointless, really.
I didn't find it that funny. I found Nigel Powers funny, but I didn't find, preparation.
Anyway.
See, because they're doing all the Dr. Evil Scott stuff in now. They're just getting it all done.
So cram it all in.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that better than coming back to it several times? Maybe. I don't know. But I'm watching it without sound. I've got subtitles on. I'm watching it without sound, and this scene just seems to have been going on forever. And actually, it has. The opening scene of this film is not that long, so this has been banging on for several minutes since.
Preparation does feel good on the whole.
You don't say.
Travel back to 1975, pick up Goldmember, bring him to the future. That's actually all we needed out of this fucking scene.
That was all the plot.
Yeah.
So what would they do next time? Travel back to 1985 and find some 80s villain?
Go back to 1985, steal a DeLorean.
Or, yeah.
I'm hoping they don't make another one, but at the same time, like anything else, you can avoid it.
What would they do? What would they do?
Go back to the 90s.
They've done it all. Back to the 90s, yeah.
And then do Back to the Future 2 and sort of interact with it.
Yeah, probably. Rip it off.
Shit.
The World Organization. Is this where he shows him his ass? That is quite funny.
That does a bit of the moon. Oh.
Yeah, it just gets tired because he goes to prison now and there's a sing along and everything. It's just like I just could have used a lot less of him in this whole series.
Yeah, to be fair, this one does have probably almost like song and dance numbers. It's a bit self-indulgent, but if it was the last one, they're going out on a high. They're going to cram in all the things.
I cannot think of
it's still good fun though.
Knighting scene without thinking of Ali G.
Oh gosh, I haven't seen that forever. Bloody hell.
Now, the film's not very funny. It's only got 2 bits in it. Ali G was made for like little 5-minute interviews on TV where he'd interview like a politician who didn't know he was in on a joke.
Right.
He was clearly a white Jewish man claiming he was black, and they couldn't bring themselves to argue, so they would agree he was black, and it was funny, but then they made a film out of it, and it had 2 funny bits in it. There was a bit where he blackmailed Charles Dance, who was like Chancellor or Prime Minister.
Love that old guy.
when he's in Parliament, he's reading a statement at the dispatch box, and he goes to turn the page, and he goes, and furthermore, and as he turns the page, he says, I am a bellend. And that's quite funny. And the bit where he gets knighted or whatever, I can't remember if it's a dream sequence, but he trips over and accidentally pulls down like the Queen's pants, and he just looks up and stunned says, the match is fudge. But the film itself's not that funny. Oh, that is Ozone Hofstra. But even this, the little sort of inserts work better in the first and second film, where you just got like a little bit of him dancing or doing something. Now we've got an elongated song.
Because he's got daddy issues.
Yeah. Oh, is this fuck me or fuck you? I can't tell.
Yeah, the scene grates a bit. Carry on from Dancing with the Stars. Oh my god.
It's who?
Carrie Ann Inaba, who is a judge on American Strictly Come Dancing.
Well, I've never seen it. I don't watch British Strictly Come Dancing. No. Only the American one. I just think, I could do this.
I don't know if she still does it, actually.
I wonder what this would be like, even cheesier with American accents. No,
With American celebrities that you never heard of.
Well, I think in a very early series I noticed Evander Holyfield was in it or something, but that was about it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Evander Holyfield was in an early series of it. Don't know how well he did. I just noticed. I read somewhere that he was.
Yeah, I can't remember. He might have been. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? You kind of like, it's a good way to kind of to get them, into the spotlight or boost or revive their career. Yeah. So.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
I've just noticed the slightly frilly panties as well, which I was looking at for research purposes.
Japanese schoolgirls.
It's where he just goes.
But
like, he's about to have like a threesome right in front of everyone.
He's a swinger, baby.
Yeah, but I've seen porn. That sort of thing happens. We've often said this on Bond films. When you turn the sound off, on films you really notice like the pacing.
Yeah.
And obviously you have to adjust for that because it's going to seem slower. But it's not a bad discipline. Watch your film without sound and just see how it flows. And this film's not flowing that well so far.
Yeah, it really does suffer. But I think, as you say, because it was the last one, and they thought, right, let's just throw everything at it, get all the people in, do all the things.
Does comedy necessarily have to flow? I think it's all about the gags, though, isn't it? With these films, it's just like, well, let's just throw as many gags in.
Yeah, but at this point,
it's still going to if it's not funny, it's going to sort of collapse under its own weight, isn't it? I think.
At this point, I think I was still thinking of going into a later screening to see that first 5 minutes again, which told me I hadn't really enjoyed the sort of 12-minute scenes.
No, you didn't really want to see the rest of it.
And again, that's not massively a comment on the film. It's just, we'll see how we go. I enjoy it overall, but I can see the problems with it now. Oh my god!
It's still a cheesy, cheesy laugh, and you can just see it for what it is. Really, it's nothing.
Hey, that solves the mystery of what was in the case in Pulp Fiction.
There it is.
It was a 14-carat trousered snake.
That's what was in that box.
A golden meat and 2 veg.
private of the old private people.
Dr. Evil. So now he's visiting the maximum security facility in Geneva, which is the. It made me. I was just about to say, this is the Silence of the Lamb bit, but we know there's something like this coming into No Time to Die.
Well, there's something like that coming along, isn't there? Really, so
I'm hoping
we're not so different, you and I.
I'm really hoping.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping Blofeld. I'm hoping Blofeld has to close the door behind him when Bond leaves.
He's going to be wearing like a shiny silver suit with barcode 001.
It's actually quite nicely done because his we're not so different, you and I.
It's one of those sort of typical scenes, isn't it? So
Yeah, but what I quite like is Austin's reflection is in the window. Now, on that long shot there, that will be a double, but where they're sort of close in looking at each other, it's actually done with a bit of visual trickery.
Do you think in No Time to Die they're going to reveal Bond's got daddy issues?
oh my god.
Because it wouldn't seem that far fetched. Because if the rumours are true, I don't know if we've said this on the show or not, so I won't say it. But we know we talked off air about it.
Right.
It could be a possible link to
Sorry.
fathers.
Right. Okay. I'm not actually sure what we're talking about there, and we don't want to say. So I'm just going to have to say. I'm going to have to say something that sounds intelligent but hedges my bets at this point. So, in other words, Chris, that's it's an interesting point.
We'll come back to it in hopefully in a few months' time.
I don't know.
I've just sent it in the chat. There you are.
Oh, that rumour, yeah. I fucking hope that ain't true. Although, without spelling it out, there's something like it in the books. So it wouldn't be the biggest betrayal of all time, but it doesn't suit the cinematic version.
Now, are these dubbed? Because I'm getting feeling it sounds like everyone else is dubbed by like the real actors, apart from the guy doing Dr. Evil.
I think so.
I think they might be.
I think so. As I recall, obviously I don't got the sound off. It seems like, and that looks like Rob Lowe doing it. It's like kind of.
I think it might be.
No, I just mean the way he's moving.
Yeah, they're dubbed.
And the lad looks a bit like a young Michael York and stuff.
Well, yeah, they try to kind of get as close as they can. I like the bit where he goes, "Whoop-de-doo, Basil." That was quite funny. I said that for a long time.
This year's International Man of Mystery is.
So there's more. Powers. So there's more International Man of Mysteries.
Yep.
So
there's an academy, don't you know?
So this should have said like International Man. Austin. The first film should have been called International Man of Mystery 1958 or something then, or whatever it was.
That's what they could do. That's what the fourth one could be. Prequel. Yeah, Squid Parole.
Austin
Powers' son.
Oh god.
Nigel's not there.
No. That's where all his trauma comes from.
And the old man is still laughing. There you go.
Yeah, it's the same old guy. I think that's quite funny. He's like,
I love the old man.
Yeah, I think that's quite funny.
I think it's a sign of my age that the first thing I looked at when they were talking earlier was, oh, thank goodness he's got plenty of toilet roll.
Yeah.
That's a sign of my age.
Lived through a pandemic when.
Yeah.
Cool.
Two veg painted gold. Was that against their will, or did they just sort of like, that'll brighten things up?
A schmelting accident.
Thing is, if they have vigorous enough sex in dark enough conditions, it would look like strobe lighting, wouldn't it? You know, son walks in, I'm about to leave, where are my keys? Oh, there they are. There they are. There they are. There they are.
Yeah, wasn't David Beckham like sort of nicknamed Golden Balls at this point?
He was, but I don't think it was.
Yeah.
I don't think it was because a Dutch criminal mastermind
No.
painted his testicles. think it was because he could do no wrong. He was England captain, and Beckham had a decent career. I'm not going to sit here and slaughter him, but there were definitely spells where he was an automatic pick and the England captain, and a media sweetheart. And there were spells where he weren't actually playing that well, and I think that's where that came from. And partially the fact that I think he was a bit of a license to print money at that time as well. Pimpmobile. I don't know what the dry ice is for. This is laboratory conditions. Throw in some dry ice and fairy dust.
Very unclean.
Well, yeah, but people are actually welding stuff. There's a flame torch actually going on in the back.
And I love 1975. No idea when in 1975, but
it's 1975. Just generally, the 70s looked like this.
Yeah. Right, car's bouncing and it's about to go. There you go. So he's now back in the 1970s, and we're looking at a bottom. Studio 69. That sounds a bit rude.
Yeah, that's a bit. Oh God.
Yeah, it's a bit like an 88, except an 88 is the same thing, but just two really fat people.
That's a bingo reference, isn't it?
I was going to say.
Yeah,
Can you even say that anymore? Or is that a bit non-PC?
Hang on a minute.
I don't play.
I don't think you. Hang on a minute. You don't get that at Gala Bingo, do you? And the next number is two fat fuckers.
You wouldn't get away with that.
He does have a very, very good voice. And she's aging very well as well.
Beyonce looks amazing.
Yeah, she does now.
She's generally, I just think she looks amazing. Like, I saw it, well, I didn't see her when she was at Glastonbury, but I watched it when she was on TV. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't age. She just looks amazing, generally.
How was that Glastonbury?
Well, the one
did you
played.
go? Cool.
I was watching Queens of Stone Age instead.
Oh.
You do find yourself doing that, particularly when it's a sort of pyramid stage, other stage thing. The pyramid stage is often the one you want to tell people you've seen, and the other stage is the one you actually want to see.
Yeah, it's very often.
And I had that one year because REM were playing the main stage, and Primal Scream were playing the other stage.
Ooh.
I was like, oh fuck.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, sometimes?
The thing with Primal Scream is that there is you kind of feel like you have to see the big one, but at the same time, when you at something like a festival, Primal Scream at night just seems, I really fancy that. Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of. But it's like when they Primal Scream were on just before the Rolling Stones, and it just,
all right, that would have been a different year, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's Primal Scream are better as the last act of the night. In a smaller stage, it's just really, really good. But on the main stage, when it's still light out and stuff, it's not the same. But
yeah, I mean that to me is apart from the legend slot on a Sunday, which is I don't know, 5 p.m. or something. That early evening slot at Glastonbury's, there's something a bit miserable about it. The peak of the day's gone, but it's not going dark. So whoever's on it, people are wandering off.
It's a filler, isn't it? Really,
it doesn't. There's something a bit depressing about it.
That's bit filler, but time to fill up before the good stuff.
It does depend on who's on, because you still get decent.
You still get some quality out.
I mean, I saw James Brown at that time of night. I'm trying to think who played the first year show. My age here, Supergrass were on around that slot on the.
Oh wow!
Okay. And I think, what the hell were they called? The main support the first night. To Radiohead was the Flaming Lips.
Oh.
Yeah. So we got Nathan Lane doing his bit now.
Yeah, I think that seems really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last person I saw at Glastonbury was Bobby Womack.
Oh wow, cool.
Oh wow.
That must have been a good show.
Yeah, it was a nice way to end it all, because we just literally we slipped away at the end. We just right, okay, we'll start travelling our way back. Avoid the.
That was if that was 2000.
Did you come out for the day or did you camp?
He died almost exactly 3 years later.
Mm.
And similar with James Brown, I went to see him in the summer of 2004, and he died something like Boxing Day 2006.
Yeah. I saw him when he supported Chili Peppers.
Right.
Did he support the Chili Peppers in
I mean, he was miles
similar
past
time?
it at that stage. He was miles
2004.
past it. It was good fun.
Yeah, it's one of the things where like we didn't get to, you chance to see him once, don't you?
He's got most of the singing's being done by somebody else. He's got a load of dancers around him, and he's there going, "Hi," and like, and everyone's singing his name over and over again.
Yeah, it's basically like how Eddie Murphy presents us. It's like
basically, I think what happens is
hey!
his band used to just make him eat his dinner too quickly and then rush out on the stage. So he'd be up there going, "Aye."
But he still did the whole like thing, like, oh, I'm kind of old and crooked, and then just bounce back.
He says he's injured, and they put a cape over him, and then he walks away and throws it off. And it's like, do you think there was anyone in the audience who went, "My God, he's injured"? Oh my, he's not! Thank God. Definite for us. I thank you. This is another
That's
thing
quite a funny
that makes me
sequence.
realise how long ago it was that Michael Caine here possibly would have been about just before 70, something like that, and he's getting very, very old now.
He looks really good here, though. He does the role really well.
No, but I'm saying now he's in his late 80s.
Oh, but yeah, might not be able to do it now, perhaps.
I have a feeling he must be about 88, because I'm sure he was about 72 when the Batman Begins came out.
Yeah.
And this is English.
Yeah,
See-
you do need subtitles.
I can't think of anyone else other than Michael Caine who could actually
Yeah,
play
you could do
Austin Powers'
it.
dad.
Not with the same humour, because I suppose at this stage it is possible you could still get Roger Moore.
No, but things that like he has a Michael
He's
Caine
known for
look.
like that kind of Harry Palmer, the glasses kind of look. I think that's where the Austin Powers look comes from, really.
I see what you're saying.
I think that's why they got Michael Caine in, just because he's known for that kind of Harry Palmer style concept. I think so Roger would have been a good fit as well, but I kind of think they ran what Caine is right in the role,
Yeah.
and he has a good time with it as well.
He lost his penis in a smelting accident. I don't know if that means he fucks,
Unfortunate smelting accident.
melted gold.
That's nothing.
I don't know. It's a bit rich if you ask me.
But
Doit like a doiger.
dude, yes, exactly.
Probably the best line in the film, Michael Caine's, about intolerance.
And the Dutch.
Flapjack and a cigarette, cigar and a waffle, pipe and a grip.
See, look, they're just like go for random shit, aren't they? Just go like, yeah, well, what the Dutch like seems to like smoking and pastries, so.
I don't know quite what he's supposed to be. Now, the obvious point is Goldfinger, colouring, but he's not quite that. The obsession with gold is that. But then you look at the tracksuit and stuff, and you think, is that meant to imply porn or something? I'm not really sure.
Well, it's always like a mishmash of other things, isn't it?
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's like he's meant to be obviously he's got a little bit of a pimp vibe, the 70s, but obviously they're riffing on Goldfinger as well.
Yeah. Well, he's got the same time machine Dr. Evil had in the last film. Nice of him to drop it back from space. I imagine at the point where Goldfinger was holding a golden gun in that film, it never occurred to them they would ever make the man with the golden gun. And that is very sort of 70s air stewardess kind of wear.
Yeah.
Slightly adapted.
Yeah, they're trying to go for that aesthetic, aren't they? I think. Oh.
They say what now?
That's very 70s hair they've got as well. All of them.
Yeah, they're all that's a 70s hairdo. Lots of hairspray going on.
The microphone.
He does sort of
Microphone.
Microphone. I can't do the accent. It's funny.
See, I do think Beyonce is actually good in the role, but is a bit one note.
Yeah. Ooh, she's a honey.
Yeah. Dear, oh dear.
See, how come she's not in jail? Because
Yeah. I'd like to know the same.
it's like, yeah, we'll let the old henchman go, but, we'll just arrest Dr. Evil and Mini-Me.
Perhaps she beguiled her way out of it with her raw sensuality.
Maybe she had a better lawyer.
Maybe.
Here we go.
It's a beautiful day in Belgium.
Oh god, here it comes.
The shot. I don't know about the shot of the exploding car. I'm not sure about that. But the later on, when you see Michael Caine looking like distraught, that is obviously from one of his films, and I need to look up which one.
I think it is, yeah. I can't remember which one. Need to quickly Google imdb.com.
Austin Powers in Goldmember. I'll just go to the trivia section while you all enjoy the movie.
Fun facts.
It was just so evil.
Desktop IMDb is looking really different again now.
Yeah, they keep changing every so often, don't they?
Yeah.
I kind of missed.
I don't know if it was affected by the outage.
Heather Graham reprised her role as Felicity Shagwell in a scene that was ultimately cut. Well, I must admit, I'm absolutely devastated now.
I don't remember seeing that in the features, so I must not even feature on that.
The footage of a young Sir Michael Caine was lifted from Hurry Sundown, a 1967 film made by Otto Preminger.
I've never seen it.
Well, he made Stalag 17. I was just thinking, I know that name. Porgy and Bess, Stalag 17. And they're the only ones I really know, if I'm honest. I could fake knowing the rest, but I don't, let's be honest. Michael Caine and Jane Fonda. Michael Caine's first attempt at an American accent. That's under the trivia for that film.
Oh dear.
And it's just like, that doesn't imply it went well, does it? Right.
First and also the last.
The first time he had a fucking go. Yeah. His first attempt. If somebody ever refers to your first attempt at something, you fucked it up.
It's rude.
Yeah. You know, when Tyson blitzed his way to the heavyweight title at the age of 20, no one ever refers back to that as his first attempt.
At his first attempt, he was successful.
Yes. And what about his second attempt? Didn't need one because the first was so great. This goes on too long as well.
I mean, this was going through the music video channels as well.
Was it?
Back on MTV, you had all those music channels.
Yeah.
This was doing the rounds back then as well.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. But again, you're thinking logically wise. You just see, have a key slip to him. That's all you need. It's like, oh, he's going to get out.
It's a fairly slight film as it is, though.
Mm.
I remember watching this the first time and thinking it was going to go into a Superman 2 spoof.
Yeah.
Where the air balloon came down.
But you can tell they just ran out of budget and thought, oh shit, what do you? Oh, I'll just have them dry them off.
Yeah.
But it's the same bit from the music video as well. That's the thing. It's really fucking weird.
But I did say last week this film's a lot more like vaudeville. It's a lot more let's put on a show.
Yeah.
When we first see Goldmember, he's dancing and looking at the camera a lot, and it just feels like, and now for this bit. Oh, you got mail. Still, at least this section of the film hasn't dated at all.
Yeah, the series generally hasn't dated at all.
Does AOL still exist?
Yeah, to some capacity.
I'm sad to say I have an AOL address. Oh. But I don't use it very often. Used to get CDs back in the day.
What's a CD?
What's one of those?
Well, I've been into some CD shops in my time.
That's very seedy. Very seedy hobby.
And yes, now we have that mole.
Mole.
It's all kinds of offensive. All kinds of offensive.
Yeah, but to be fair, if I had a mole that big, I'd probably have never gone to the cinema to see this, so you'd be right.
You'd be in a dark room, so that's all right.
Yeah, you'd just be hiding in shame.
I mean, I'd have that removed at the first availability.
But would you more have it removed?
Yeah, I would.
If it's like taking over your face, then you might think, "Oh, is it cancerous?"
Yeah.
I wouldn't care. I just want it gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd never have copped off with Winnie Cooper with one of them on his face.
I said mole.
She went on to be like a mathematician or something. The actress who played Winnie Cooper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fun fact, folks.
Yeah, I should have made it sound more fun, shouldn't I? I sounded a bit depressed about it. Like, I wish she was still an actress. And then we cut to Tokyo. Somebody had to design that. You know what I mean? In universe, someone had to say, right, so you want a submarine, what do you want it to look like?
Well.
Well, Danka McKellar, who did play Winnie Cooper in Wonder Years, was on.
McKellar, yeah.
She was in Dancing with the Stars.
Ah, see, there we are. Another Dancing with the Stars reference.
It's Dancing with the Stars connection.
Yeah.
Dancing with the not
stars.
That famous anymore.
Not that famous, no. Dancing with the people who were stars 20 years ago.
I'm actually going to look up a list. Dancing with the Stars contestants, because they're more likely to get. Okay. I have gone right the way across the screen and don't recognise any of them.
I think Jennifer Grey was in it one year. She might have won.
I bet she had the time of her life.
She did.
Right, first season. Evander Holyfield and Rachel Hunter, I know.
Mm.
Tatum O'Neill, Tia Carrera, George Hamilton.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson. Fucking hell. Can you do a racist dance? Shannon Moakler, I know her. Harry Hamlin, he used to be in LA Law. Vivica A. Fox, we know her from the Kill Bill films and others. Jerry Springer. Can you do a completely insensitive dance that helps no one? Heather Mills.
Can you exploit?
Yeah, she was in it randomly.
Yeah. Heather Mills. That I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult anyone, but that just plays really funny in my head for obvious reasons.
I think they made
she probably danced around in a lot of circles.
But didn't she do the ice skating thing as well?
Ah, yeah. How'd you go? It's like when you go bowling. How'd you go up and ask for one shoe? Anyway, John Ratzenberger.
I think her, she was quite iconic for doing it because of having one leg.
Billy Ray Cyrus, Layla Ali, that's Muhammad Ali's daughter, who actually was a boxer herself for a while.
Mm.
Floyd Mayweather, who's a noted boxer and wife beater.
Oh dear.
Jane Seymour, she appeared.
Yeah, she was on it.
Mel B. I'll hold the thoughts that ran through my head when I saw Mel B on there. Marie Osborne, Penn Jillette, Monica Seles, Steve Guttenberg, Adam Carolla, Priscilla Presley, Marley Matlin. Well, there's an obvious point about that, isn't there, Marley Matlin?
Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, carry on. The music must have been in Braille.
I think it's been quite good because they've been able to have these diverse, a diverse
Either
cast.
that, or it must have been the most percussion-heavy music of all time. Kim Kardashian, she probably filmed it and leaked it on the internet. Tony Braxton, Belinda Carlisle, Denise Richards.
Yeah, Denise Richards, eh?
Macy Gray. She
Yep.
probably danced once and was never heard from again.
Well, she sang the rest of the time.
No, but she was a one-hit wonder, wasn't she? Debbie Mazar.
She went back to being Marge
She had an
Simpson.
album out at the time. Kelly Osbourne.
Shannon Doherty, Buzz Aldrin. He must have been out of this world.
He was out of this world, but
Aidan
legend.
Turner's been on it. Pamela Anderson.
Yep.
Again, it was probably a grainy video of Anderson. What's she doing there?
running.
In slow motion.
It's, yeah,
I
on
was
the beach.
thinking more of her leaked porn vids, to be fair. Nicole Scherzinger. David Hasselhoff has done it.
Yep,
Uh,
everybody.
who else?
Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, Jennifer Grey. Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yep.
Ralph Macchio's done it.
Randy Couture. Oh my gosh.
China Phillips, Chaz Bono, David Arquette. That'll do. It's run forever. I'll be going forever.
It's been on for many seasons.
But Pamela Anderson appeared in more than one series.
Yeah, sometimes they pop up and then they do like an All Stars every so often.
Well, she popped up and then she had them removed and popped down again. Tommy Chong. You just imagine a haze of smoke, can't you, for his death?
Yeah, let's dry him out first.
But I don't know if it's my age, but as I'm going down through the series, they're getting less famous. And I don't know if it's because they're running out of people or just because like people are getting famous through many more.
They tend to get a lot of like reality stars as well,
exactly,
don't
which I'd never seen.
they? No, it's not reality stars or people who are.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whoever he danced with, must have been on a fucking stepladder. Tonya Harding.
Very, very tall.
Tonya Harding. How can Tonya Harding get like work anywhere after what she did?
This is Hollywood, baby.
Yeah.
This is it.
So back to the film.
Back to the film. This is probably one of the first times I've seen a scene where a captor's as what? Let me get this right. The captor is asking the captor, show us your penis.
Yeah. Thing is, Bond could have done that with Silver, and he probably would have. Never thought you missed the trick there, Bond. I mean, you might have had to suck it.
You really did.
Thank you, but yeah.
Oh, Mr. Bond.
Right, so I've just got to Fat Bastard as a sumo wrestler.
And we're going to a bit of the
And
twice.
the thing is, right, genuinely, I need the loo, but I'm worried they'll both think I'm off to like have a wank because I've just seen like Fat Bastard not wearing very much.
No, you seen Fat Bastard and realised you had to pinch one off.
Yeah, it could be that actually. I keep expecting on this CD. I know a hotel. This is
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
Yeah, one of the most like really random but obvious sort of codes to meet. So it's like, have you got any soft shell crab?
I think the problem is the whole point is you can say something relatively innocuous, and if you get the wrong person, no harm done.
Yeah.
But in the 60s, walking up to some random fella and telling him you love him is a bit dangerous.
Yeah, and go to San Francisco at a fish market. And
Going to a fish market and asking for soft-shell crab. That guy must have just been showing his CIJ credentials to people all day. the storeroom must just be full of dead tourists where he's gone up shit.
A lot of people disappeared that day. Strange.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Lord Adam's career was never the same afterwards either, so perhaps she was there. I left a horse buddy.
Oh,
Of course, Shrek had come out by now, so we'd already heard his Scottish accent, which was a late decision because Mike Myers, his parents are from Liverpool.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he holds dual nationality, but either way, it's why he can do his English accents with no problem. His parents are both English.
oh, his dad's Scottish, isn't it? But he lived in Liverpool.
Oh,
Sure.
is he?
So he said
he's
it's
got,
like
national
his,
heritage.
Maybe I've got the details wrong.
his dad. He definitely talks about his dad like sort of being like speaking like with a Scottish accent. That's where he like gets it from.
He was born in Scarborough, Ontario, to British immigrants from the Old Swan area of Liverpool. The Old Swan area is just down the road from the cinema. I used to go there. His father, Eric Myers, was an insurance agent. His mother, data processor. Both World War II veterans. It doesn't actually specify. Nationality, Canadian, American, British. So he's obviously claimed all three.
But where is he now?
He did a Scottish accent for So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Oh, he did,
plays his
didn't he?
dad.
I've only seen that once, and I can't remember it too well because people told me for years it was like the best film you've not seen. You know what I mean? People talk about Austin Powers and Wayne Rhodes. You need to watch So I Married an Axe Murderer. So I watched it like with really high expectation that it was this kind of forgotten classic, and I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. That's all.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's decent, but not like essential.
It's not that great, is it? No, it's
but
not that great, but it's not bad.
It's good, but it's almost like films that are of its equal quality do tend to get more talked about more.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. It's it's I mean, you could say something like What About Bob? I mean, that's another film that doesn't get talked about often enough, but
Well, it wouldn't be by me because I haven't seen it.
all right, it's actually all right, as a.
What about that one? I bet when I get to it, I have seen it because the thing is, I've seen so many films and my memory's good, but I'm getting to the point that I am occasionally forgetting films I've seen.
Yeah, it's a Frank Oz film with Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss.
Or is this skin producer? She died, didn't she? No, Bill Murray. Was it Julie Hegarty? Oh, Julie Hegarty from Airplane. Okay, I've not seen that, but I'm familiar with it. It's ludicrous. These films are 30 years old now. That's just
That is crazy.
I know.
This is something
I
that
didn't feel old. Now I feel old.
This one isn't. No,
this is something that me and my girlfriend quote all the time. It's in apartment buildings, you smell other people's cooking.
Yeah.
Plus crap.
It is. I mean, for all its faults, it is quite.
I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm off to think about Fat Bastard in the near nude.
Yeah, that's one image that you can't unsee. I always thought it must have been quite tricky to do that wire fighting scene in the suit and on wire fighting. I'm like, oh my god.
I don't know. It's I imagine that suit's probably. I don't know how heavy it is really. It could be quite light. You know what I mean? It could be. It could just probably be difficult to sort of shuffle around in. But once you're like in the wires, I mean, spun around, it's probably. It probably makes you dizzy and feel sick, probably more than anything. And we finally get the sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads. And he gets the love from his son, or love from his father.
That was both quick and invigorating.
Good. So we finally got shots with laser beams.
Finally. Laser beam is attached to the frickin' words.
I'm wondering if Frau Farbissner, the actress, looks any older now. Not seen her for a while.
She I think she looks exactly the same for like the past 30
Yeah, she looks
years.
the same.
I can't see her like changing until like she reaches 90.
What else has she done? I think I only know her from these films.
Oh, I've seen her in things. Again, I need to look her up again.
He doesn't understand because she's small.
Mindy Sterling. Obviously, she looks younger and better in life, full stop. I mean, I'm just looking at a photo of her now, like, made up to look a bit more attractive.
Sorry.
Whilst you'd never confuse her for a classical looker, she doesn't actually look much different. If anything, she looks a little bit younger, because it's less severe. She looks very, very similar, actually. No, definitely. I'm definitely seeing photos where she looks a little bit older than this, but not a lot. She's actually 66, 67 now. 66. 60. No, I was right first time. 67. Which means she was in her late 40s at this point. That's all.
It's the magic of makeup.
Is this where we get the subtitles, Joke? I'd forgotten.
Yeah. Your ass
I think
is
it's quite funny.
happy.
Please eat some shit.
Please eat some shit. Please eat some shiitake mushroom.
Please eat what? Some shiitake mushrooms.
Can you imagine life was like that? You actually read subtitles and
Yeah. About my father's fair.
about.
Your ass is happy.
Imagine being actually called Mr. Roboto.
I have a huge rod. Rodent problem.
It's very cleverly done now, I think.
Why don't I
By the
speak
way,
English?
that way I wouldn't make it seem like you're saying things that are dirty.
That are dirty. What do you know about my father's whereabouts? Oh.
By the way, I do have a huge rod.
Okay, I might be a little bit behind because I just managed to drop my remote control. Alright. Never mind.
You never get that on, like, proper director's commentaries, do you?
No, sorry.
No one pops off for, like, a couple of minutes. And no one says, oh, sorry, I dropped the remote.
Sorry, I dropped the remote. Huey. It's fine.
Excuse me, listeners, I'm just about to take a huge dump. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I need to go a huge poop. See you in 10 minutes.
It's not quite true. It wasn't a huge dump.
Well, I drank a lot of tea.
This was funny, where he has to whip it out and have a piss.
Progress report, it was a bit sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but stop it.
Well, that because I had some chicken earlier that was in a cream sauce, and frankly, it went right through me.
It's the random asparagus, isn't it?
I don't know what it was. It was.
No,
I kind
here.
of knew it. I just thought this is not a good idea. Oh, he's whizzing too far now. If only water went through you that quickly. You know, because if you were off to see a film or something, you could just drink something in the lobby, know you're going to piss it out immediately,
Yeah.
and then just relax the entire film. to the wrong side. This is very like Roger Moore in Live and Let Die, to be fair, just being held by the neck and him looking a bit distressed.
Judo chop.
Mm. He stands back and it looks like it's pissing in his mouth, doesn't it?
Mm.
There you go. Like Ray Austin's pissing in his mouth from the picture. Is he doing what I think he's doing? Has Beyonce made many films? Does she still act at all?
She's been in a few. I mean, she voiced in a lot of the new Lion King.
Oh, she was Mrs. Simba, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mrs. Simba, yeah.
Mrs.
Well, eventually they married. Mrs. Simba couldn't think of it. The live-action Lion King. What a superfluous piece of work that was.
It was very beautifully made.
Yeah, but can you feel the Love Tonight being sang at lunchtime? You think, like, listen to your own lyrics, mate. And also, the problem was live action in inverted commas. Animals are not as articulate facially, so it felt redundant. And I saw the running time was about half an hour longer, and I thought, all right, okay, they'll beef this up a bit, and they really didn't. It was almost the same plot.
Yeah, I kind of felt it was a little bit like
scene by scene as well.
Unnecessary, but it's beautifully made, I think. Amazing cast.
Even some of the shots were almost identical. In terms of composition anyway. Obviously the end result looks different because you've got what looks like ambient lighting, and I think it was all done on a plate or something. They didn't even go to Africa. I didn't really I say I didn't see the point. Of course I always know the point. It's going to make good money.
It was also like testing out the technology as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think it's something that you wanted to do a lot earlier, but the technology wasn't really available. I mean, I think for me, like, the animation would always, growing up during that era, it'd always be a classic. But I think having, obviously, it does, the Disney rating the back catalogue does sort of divide fans a little bit. Some kind of say what's the point.
I do think there are better Disney films than the Lion King anyway, because,
Well, it's basically telling a Hamlet, so.
Well, but it is quite thin in that he goes off into exile. And he meets up with Timon and Pumbaa, and you think, Tim, is that the right name? Something like that.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And you think, right, well, there's going to be a bit of a story of them getting to know each other. They sing one song, and he's immediately grown up and goes home.
That's what the series is for. That's what the children's series is for, and that's all the sequels are for, and all the rest of it.
I understand that.
It's classic, tale of friendship.
It is very,
seeing it the first time. That's really a lot of the films are. So
there's a bit less to this than I thought there was going to be.
Dave, you're such a cynic.
I'm not really. I'm not even saying I dislike it, but like Beauty and the Beast was a better film a couple of years before.
That's one of those things, isn't it? I think it's kind of. I mean, having seen like the remake, the series. It's a fan favourite with me for sure. I mean, it is a bit thin. I mean, a lot of the films are, to be honest. But you take away what you like of it, really. So I mean, the songs are sort of fantastic, and they're sort of lyrically really, really clever. I think animation's kind of okay. It's one of the first films to use CGI.
It's I mean, the ballroom scene in Beauty and the Beast, I think, was the first Disney. Well, the first.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was that or Aladdin to use the CG. So
yeah,
that was the ballroom scene. So.
But it looks like Godzilla, but due to international copyright law,
it's not.
It's not.
That actor went on to later appear in Heroes.
I know that's. I forget what his
skill was.
I see
Oka, I think. I can't pronounce his real name.
The first season of Heroes was amazing.
That was a great TV show.
I have never seen a show collapse so quickly. Because the first series was amazing. Then you had the writer strike, so the second one was a bit odd. And then it never recovered. It was dreadful.
Yeah, such a shame. It launched quite a few careers as well. So his career, and also Zachary Quinto as well. He was kind of a big star off the back of that.
Yeah.
That's J.J. Abrams, isn't it? Heroes.
It is.
That's typical J.J., isn't it?
What starts all right, goes to shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and actually teases a load of mysteries without having any concept of what the answer might be.
Yeah.
But the first season was good. And it fell apart terribly. So when I think of
kind of
Heroes
remember like
now,
TV being quite good around that sort of time, because like Heroes, Lost, and those sort of really meaty American type shows.
I never watched Lost because I think I've got a bit of antipathy to this whole mystery box idea. As soon as I heard what Lost was, I thought they'll bugger about for 5 or 6 seasons, and it'll turn out to be,
And it'll turn
not
out to
that
be like
interesting.
a dream. It was a dream.
And actually, I underestimated it. Ran a bit longer than that, I think. But the gist was, it's like season after season of teasing something and just teasing it and teasing it and teasing it.
In the end, it was just like, it's a dream.
At least Tony Soprano was kicking shit out of people in the first episode.
Well, this is it.
Didn't tease he might do it 7 years in.
We've got a prequel to Sopranos as well.
What's it called? The Many something of Newark.
Saints of Newark.
Many Saints of Newark, that's it. And the young Tony Soprano is being played by his son.
Oh, yes.
Which is going to be tough for him, I imagine. Well, it's already shot now. I think it comes out in the autumn. I don't know who the main character is. Oh, the director's Alan Taylor. He did such a good job with Thor: The Dark World and Terminator Genesis. I don't know who the lead sort of character. John Bernthal's in it. Doesn't say what any of their character names are. Let me see the whole cast a minute. So Vera Farmiga's in it. John Bernthal. Billy Magnuson, who we'll see in No Time to Die as Paulie. The one with the funny hair.
I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the film. I can't wait.
Junior Soprano is going to be played by Corey Stoll, he was the bad guy in the first Ant-Man. Junior Soprano was a great character. Silvio, who was played by the guy from the E Street Band in the original, is John Magaro. I can see that. Dicky Montesanti, Alessandro Nivola, Michael Gandolfini as Tony Soprano. So his son's playing him. Anyone else? I haven't seen it for a while. Young Janice is in it. So Mattia Conforti. So obviously maybe you see the two of them meet. The Sopranos is still a wonderful show. Wonderful. But I've only ever seen it through like once or twice, so my memory on it's fading.
That's when Mini-Me gets the shit kicked out of him again.
Oh yeah, we're watching a film, aren't we? Hang on. This is a bit Man with a Golden Gun, except the bottles weren't already fucking broken because like someone competent directed it. Oh, this is another one with a hilarious throw in it.
Yeah.
Obviously, he goes off there so he can pick up something else. Look, oh, dearie me. Masterstroke not have him silent, but not really have him say anything.
It's just something about this where he's just like grabs the sack and just starts smashing it across the face. Oh. And we're in silence.
Oh my god. To be fair, this one was only an hour and a half long, so that's to its credit.
Dave, you sound really faint.
That seems to happen with my sound now and again. I think it will pick up, or I'll have to do it.
Yeah, he's really far away. Sorry about this, listeners. Thanks for bearing with us.
I'll either remember to edit this and make it better, or I won't. But I should sort of.
That sounds a bit better.
It does. It's something to do with this system. It sort of gets worse and then it gets better again slowly.
Mm.
You're drifting too far away.
Yeah, he's getting better though.
Very much.
Not Vern Troyer really does suit dressed as Austin Powers as well.
I know. Well, to be fair, the same actor plays both of the sort of big versions, so
Yeah.
it might make sense that he does.
Well, they're both brothers.
Yeah. Rich actor.
We should infiltrate
anyone-
his lair.
If anyone did drive a Lotus in the water, wondering if it would do that. Oh.
There'd be someone.
Oh,
So the best one I ever heard was the guy who bought like a Winnebago in America, put it on cruise control, and then stepped into the back to make a coffee. I think he thought it was fucking Knight Rider. It was going to drive itself.
What? It's a self-driving car, yeah.
Yeah, a cruise control. But that's what the auto-driving thing in Knight Rider was called. He put it in cruise control and it would drive itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always sounds like a gag in itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is really dates the film now.
What does?
This gag. Where
Big juicy melons.
yeah. No, not this, but when it just goes straight to the Osborns.
Who is that actress? Who is that actress? That one who's going big juicy melons. That is a name actress or model or something.
Oh, speaking of heroes,
There he is, Greg Grunberg.
There he is.
Greg Grunberg.
Scumbag, that's the one.
He was basically a cop in Heroes.
His special power was like turning his head.
He does have a role in Rise of Skywalker, a well thought through role that adds to the film.
Yeah, that was amazing. I was like, oh, it's that guy from Heroes.
he's basically Porkins. I mean,
and basically
he was in Force Awakens.
the character made such an impression on me that I will always refer to that character in Rise of Skywalker as that guy from Heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but having the Osborns in this just completely just dates it. And it was...
The thing is, it looked all a bit forced and twee at the time. And the thing is, you can't always predict how something is going to date. But there are some things that just arrive almost predated. You just know it. And as soon as I saw them, I thought that's not gonna date well. I'm trying to think. There are other examples like that, but yeah, he's pumping a leg. Let him finish.
So cringeworthy.
I think it's Donna DeRenko.
Donna Derrico.
Yeah,
She's
she's in
Baywatch as
Brooklyn
well, isn't she?
Nine-Nine.
Well, I'm just wondering if I've seen her in advertising campaigns.
Yes,
Because
she's in Baywatch.
I
She was in Baywatch as well, yeah.
but I've never seen that. The TV show or the film?
TV show.
Oh well, it probably will be that then.
And Baywatch Nights.
Ah, see, now that sounds like it's going to be filth, but then I read it was like just.
Yeah, it's Mitch goes PI. That's basically what it is.
Exactly. It's like Baywatch Nights. You think, well, that's just what happens when the bathing suit comes off. But when the bathing suit comes off, on goes the cheap suit, and he investigates shit. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I have never watched. I will do though. It's on the list because I've heard it's great. Goldmember, Baywatch, yeah.
I don't think I'll ever watch that.
I saw Baywatch when it first came out a few times. In the era she was in it, I never watched it. So I'm wondering if I've just seen it on things like Friends, where they're obsessed with it and stuff like that.
I think I've watched maybe like a few episodes back in the day, but never really.
Yeah, because all joking aside, you assume pre-internet all men are watching it because it's such a turn on. But the fact is, the show was absolute fucking bollocks. It was really shit. And and the thing is, I knew it was shit when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I don't need to be an adult to go, this isn't very good. It was terrible.
Well, it was, it's like, it's the era of like Beverly Hills 90210 and
which was also
shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like it's a product that was like, they came off programs like A-Team and Magnum PI and things like that, and it kind of just like
but at least I can't comment on Magnum because even though I've not seen it for so long. I don't know how it would. All right, hold up's the wrong word because I expect it to be terribly dated. But like the A-Team, there's no doubt. If you showed me a couple of episodes of the A-Team now, I'd think it was terrible. But in my defence, I was about 6 when it started.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I loved it at that age. I think it was more fucking worrying. My stepfather liked it. You know what I mean? It's like, you're a grown-up, you fucking idiot.
You could see why it was popular, though. Because, given that it was an 80s show, it had a lot of charm. It was just...
But it's a bit like, right, when I watch... I mean, I haven't seen it in years, but take a show like Neighbours or something, right? Neighbours in this country always used to be on around the time kids were getting home from school. And it was watched almost exclusively by either kids or pensioners who frankly had nothing better to do. So it was almost like a kid show. And then you go, hang on a minute, this is a primetime soap opera in America. In Australia. And I find that odd. And the A-Team was a bit like that. I just thought, like, I could understand this being on like kids' TV, and yet it was like aimed at like everyone, and I couldn't get my head around that.
Yeah,
because it played like a kids' show.
Well, yeah, Neighbours, Neighbours and Home and Away. It's a bit weird because Neighbours and Home and Away and They Know different than any other soap opera, really. But for some reason,
hang on a minute.
But for some reason over here.
Taking Neighbours as an example, the last time I saw it must have been over 30 years ago, right? So this is not Neighbours as it is today. This is Neighbours as I remember it.
Oh yeah, I'm going by how I remember it.
It focused chiefly on school kids and very young adults. So you think, well, that's who it's aimed at then. It's at best a young adult show as we think of it now.
Yeah, it's kind of Hollyoaksy, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and you just think like this, but this is prime time. Now, admittedly, they were all veterans in the A-Team, but just everything about the tone was really cartoonish.
I think probably
primetime TV is not quite that juvenile anymore. It's scripted dramas.
I think it was, particularly at the time, it was probably down to like what you could do on primetime. So, because it was quite an action-y show, you couldn't have any sort of hardcore, anything too violent, anything that was too violent or things like that.
That's true.
So I think that's probably why it was cartoony in nature.
Probably.
And I think the popularity of the show.
Because I mean, we get it shows you how puritanical their network TV was, because you got to something like NYPD Blue in '93, it launched. And there was major campaigns about it because you could see like side boobs and bums, and they would say swear words like dick, and it was just a major scandal. And I just I don't even begin to understand that, because that was just never really the case in this country. We had twats like Mary Whitehouse, but they were very much fringe influences.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
And then you go to their cable show, and it's tits, shagging, murder. And you go like, there couldn't be a bigger dichotomy.
Yeah, it is an odd one. It's not something that I've kind of like figured out, because in terms of like what is in terms of what was popular and what was like, what was the consensus at the time, because the two aren't necessarily the same thing. But
no, that's true.
But I think the reason why the A-Team was popular was it's all down to like the characters, and people just like them as a it's like, and that's what it's like we always say. We don't know if we say it off air, but whenever you listen to any podcast, the format's kind of irrelevant. You're just there for whoever's on the show.
Yeah, that's why I've never understood podcasts that run through different hosts and stuff. I don't mean replace a host permanently. That happens. but I mean, from week to week, the running order's changing of who's on it, the roll call, and it's like that defeats the object to me. Because if we moved, because there are people that listen to this regardless of the film we're talking about, and let's be fair, we're hardly talking about this film, which is par for the course.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing that the censorious thing at the time. It was, I don't know, it's.
But then you get to something like Game of Thrones and it's fucking laughable, to be honest. They were cramming in shagging wherever it could go. That actually made me think of... Do you remember the George and Lynn comic strip in the Mirror or the Sun or whatever it was? Right? George and Lynn, it was a little comic strip in the paper, right? And they would almost always be like semi-nude in this.
Can I just pause you just for a moment and just acknowledge the fact that Austin Powers is got into like the secret agency, and yet he had to wear glasses as a baby, so his eyesight's that poor. Sorry, sorry. Continue.
Actually, he should be a civil servant, really, shouldn't he? He should be behind a desk. He should be Ned. He should be the guy in the chair. What was I saying? Well, I can't imagine it was that thrilling because I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Oh, you were talking about like the TV show like you mentioned a TV show. It was about it was on the lines of
I was talking about Game of Thrones, but I would say it reminded me of George and Lynn, the comic strip. Honestly, it was a little comic strip in the newspaper. I think my grandparents read the newspaper. It was an ordinary newspaper. Our newspapers were weird in this country because you'd open the Sun newspaper and it'd be a topless lady on page 3. And I was never like bothered by it, but it's like it doesn't belong there. That's a really odd place to put it. It'd be like having a photo of porn in a knitting catalogue. It's like it just doesn't belong there. But they had George and Lynn, right, which was a married couple just going about their business and getting into japes, except she was frequently topless and things like that. And it just didn't. The plot of the 3 or 4 panel strip had nothing to do with the fact that they were naked. It was just to make it seem more adult. Game of Thrones was a bit like that. You'd have a conversation about the plot somehow, but they'd happen to be shagging while they did it. And part of me, whilst not offended by any of that, used to look at it and just think, "Oh, grow up! Fucking porn's available on the internet if I want that."
Yeah.
Oh, they're all in. Talking of porn, I don't think these 3 are going to go all the way.
Now, this is how much the plot does not make any sense at all, because, like, Nigel's just spent the whole film knowing this whole thing. And he gave us a lecture about going in all guns blazing with, like, full military and everything. And yet he's managed to sneak on a board and say, "Oh, hang on."
And they've turned Mini-Me informant when they didn't need one.
Yeah.
In a minute, it will get so silly they'll go looking for a bullet when they've already got one. Honestly, Bond films have had silly plots.
We've confirmed this bullet is from Scaramanga. But
I'd best go and find a bullet then. No, we've got one here. Yeah, but I need to go and find one.
But to certify it's from Scaramanga, we have to find a one that's from Scaramanga and cross match it.
Yeah. We've got
a bullet. We've got a bullet and a note from Scaramanga himself.
Yeah.
Well, presumably on it, but yeah.
It wasn't from Scaramanga himself, but it was from there. Look at the postmark. It will say James Bond Island, and you just head there. Awful lot of makeup he would have had to do for quite a disappointing character.
But basically, sort of peeling skin. It's just none of his jokes land.
That's all.
That's the thing.
That was quite erotic to see Beyonce holding it like that. No, not really.
That said, also the casting, the alternate casting for him, again, perfect.
Oh, as we get there in a minute, yeah. I wink you as a key. Only a bloody Dutchman. You think, well, what does that even mean? You mean only a Dutchman could have a penis made of gold that was a key to something? And to be honest, I never thought about that when I saw, like, I don't know, Patrick Kluivert playing football or something.
So Dr. Evil's called Dougie.
Yeah, that just seems really random as well.
Austin and Dougie.
Well, I didn't think it would ever happen that I'd think Austin was the cooler name.
Just looking at Beyonce's face reacting. And now I can see you.
That's thank you.
E Diddy. Yeah, I remember seeing this being kind of disappointed at the time, but it has kind of grown on me.
It's fine. It's not. I mean, we tangent all the time, but this is like been a slightly extreme example, you know. And it's because there's not really much to it. But I'll always love it for its first 10 minutes. The reveal at the end, Nigel Powers. You know, it's of a piece with the rest of them. It's just the other two are a little bit better.
Yeah, the old man laughing, the stuff with the mole and things like that.
Yeah.
And they're all one big happy family. I guess that's probably I guess that's one of the things that kind of doesn't work for me. I don't like the big all sing-song happy ending. It just feels forced.
No. Do you know, it might be... I'm a little bit controversial when it comes to Blazing Saddles on that. I think Blazing Saddles goes to absolute shit in its last 15 minutes. When it becomes they were just making a movie all along, it wasn't as funny. Dick's enormous. Kevin Spacey has never mind. The thing is, though, I mean, you can't think about that sort of stuff because if you don't want to patronise his stuff going forward, I understand, but, you know, nobody would make anything if you were worried whether you could watch it in 20 years' time. I mean, a cast this size, somebody's going to have some indiscretion somewhere.
Well, I think.
Well, he's just referring to Jared, the Subway diet. Go and look that guy up. There's scandal around him as well. The guy who was like a spokesman for the Subway diet. Yeah, I'm sure he ended up involved in some sort of paedophilia or something.
The thing is, though, it's like if you're gonna be all or cancel, or well, not cancel, but not watching this film because of that person or this person, like a lot of these people, and not even like the people you see on screen, like the producer, and things like that, or probably get up to all kinds of shit behind the scenes. To
be honest, I'm pretty personal choice on it. If someone says I really can't watch Kevin Spacey now, I go, yeah, fair enough. Woody Allen, anyone, any of them, even something made by Miramax, fine. It's entirely your choice as to how you feel about it. As it is with this film, it's a bit like Random Task in the first film. He's such a tiny part of it, it doesn't matter. It's a little throwaway joke at the start that reprises at the end.
That's what I mean. You can't do like a full film. What you're gonna have like Scott Evil? It's just not gonna work.
I do wonder if it would be like when they brought Roseanne back. When they brought Roseanne back, it was like ignored the final season, and I don't know if they would just do something like that, and it's just he's back in situ as evil.
Well, yeah, I suppose they could do like what they did in the second Austin Powers and just go like, "Yes, we knew all along," that kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. What do you think, Becca? Is Becca even still here?
Sorry.
Sorry.
I don't need to edit that. No, it's all right. I'm quite happy.
I was watching the film. I do apologise.
That's all right.
It's okay. not the best, but it's good fun, wacky characters, quite a lot of celeb cameos. They're all sending versions of themselves up. A lot of the jokes and cameos perhaps wouldn't fly today. They'd have to rethink. I don't know if he was going to do another one. I don't know where he go from here. Whether he might do a fourth film or he might do a prequel, or I don't know. But it's a fun trilogy. It's entered a lot into popular culture. And yeah, I just they're some of my favourite films. It's a guilty pleasure, really. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a good laugh.
Tom Cruise's stunt double.
Very
There's a
quotable.
phrase you don't see very often.
No, you don't. No, you don't. It's back in the days where he perhaps did have a stunt double. So, but no, yeah, it's not perfect, and it's very kind of schoolboy humour, very dirty humour. And it's very like they're all Marmite movies basically. But I think if you're fans of like Bond or definitely the spy genre, there's lots to love because it's done with a lot of affection for sure. So.
But yeah, you can see signs of it. I don't know. It's a bit like the vacation films, the Naked Gun films.
Yeah, it
any
does
number
look
of
back
these
towards
films.
the end, doesn't it? Really?
They do start to be spread thin, but there's some goodwill. You like the people, you like the characters. It feels sort of a piece. It's like the third Naked Gun film isn't all bad, but it's like notably weaker than the first two.
As I said earlier, to be fair, it is only like an hour and a half long, so it's not like you're there for like 2+ hours. But as I say, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's a good laugh, it's a good romp. And you got Beyonce, so
well, at least
can't really complain.
At least after this, we're moving on to a property that doesn't have anyone problematic involved with it. Chris,
No. we're kind of doing all the difficult films at the minute, so yeah, apologies, trigger warning.
Yes, no.
For anybody, but we'll focus on the films rather than.
And what I will say is, after the next series, I think we move on to Bourne. So Paul Greengrass and Matt Damon, fucking keep it in your pants for the next 6 weeks or so. Let us get through it.
Yes, no parties with scantily underage
Scantily clad ladies.
Or boys, which is probably what.
I think what we'll
what's
do
his
is
face?
we'll focus on the film rather than the controversies around it.
Around
Well,
Bryan
maybe
Singer.
the
with
cool.
the filmmaker in
Ramifications.
question, the only reference we will have to make is not necessarily to his personal life, but a little bit to his upbringing, personal experience, because he did bring that to the series. But obviously the scandals...
I think that was kind of why he wanted to make it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I read
anyway.
part of why he jumped ship to go and do Superman Returns as well.
But I think, as we kind of go
Still, he left Brett
back
Ratner
into the
to
Marvel
jump at that
universe.
point, and Brett Ratner's got no... bloody hell.
It's quite incestuous, these kind of those films, aren't they? I think.
Brett Ratner's a horrible human being.
I was really surprised that he directed that film. I was like, what? I remember being really surprised at the time and being like, what the hell? So, but look how it turned out. So,
We'll see.
we'll discuss that later when we come to it.
We got a couple more minutes to run on the credits here, and then we'll sign off. In fact, we'll start doing that now. As for social media, you can find me at the Pasty Kid 1976 on Twitter.
You can find me at Cinetronics. You can find all the other episodes at cinetronics.co.uk.
You can find us on Twitter at Expect Us to Talk. And also anywhere you care to listen. We're also on YouTube, Spotify, Podbean.
I think the only one we're not on is Amazon Music at the moment. Although, do let us know if you're having any problems with Spotify, because we're showing, and the episode is showing, but you go to hit play and it's doing nothing, and it's not coming up in the sort of sequential order of episodes for different shows either. So
some technical issues there on Spotify.
I'm not sure if we've got a problem with Spotify. If there is, we need to know. But not to worry about it. If not, we are in loads of places, so there's no excuse for not listening and learning. Pharrell Williams. Didn't know he was involved.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. It is horrible, because you go through a series and you just think, is any of this going to be problematic? Well, all right, we won't do anything too on the nose. I think we'll forego doing a Roman Polanski season, for example. But at the same time,
We should avoid.
we do different genre films and stuff like that. And what's coming next is an obvious one to do, and we can't avoid it just because of a whiff of scandal.
No.
But major trigger warnings. I appreciate if people don't want to listen or want to wait till we do something something more that they'll like down the line. So yeah, apologies in advance, but we'll try to keep it focused on the film. And maybe discuss it a little bit when we come to look at like the making of and production, that sort of thing. But we're not going to dwell too long on the controversy.
We can't promise we won't mention these things because you're backing yourself into a corner, and not only that, you find yourself in a position where you suddenly get racked with guilt because you've forgotten did mention it. I mean, after the next series, which we'll announce in a minute, we follow on that with Bourne, so no obvious scandals there.
So it's quite safe.
Then we're going to do some Sergio Leone. And then we're going to do some Tolkien. So at the moment, I'm not seeing a huge.
It's all scandal-free, I think.
Well, roughly. I don't know. I'm just thinking that Peter Jackson, behave yourself.
apart from the biographical film about Tolkien, which was scandalously boring, very beautifully made, but so boring.
I didn't see it, but I got reviews. It was boring, and it was like, I don't care. You with someone
performances are really good. But I took a friend of mine to go and see it, and he was like Tolkien Oracle, as far as I'm concerned, and he was like, "Oh, so dull."
I mean, look. Let's be honest. Like, it really just shows how unimaginative some of these people working in industries are, because who fucking wants that? Like, even like the most hardened fans of Tolkien and Lord of the Rings and all this, does anyone want? I want to see a film about how
what influenced the guy,
about how he wrote Lord of the Rings,
about Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings. It's like what do we really like? It's like us really pining for a film about.
I know there's a whole mythology with Tolkien that he created and stuff, but to use a really silly example, if you've ever liked High Fidelity or Fever Pitch or anything like that, do you really want a film of someone playing Nick Hornby going to get bacon sandwiches and watch Arsenal? It's like, you don't need it at all. But there you go.
Yeah. And then what you left, you end up over making up a load of shit to dramatise it. And it's just like, what's the point? What is the point?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, that's down the line. But next, trigger warning for you all. But what's coming next, Becca?
We've got a lot of huge action.
Damn it, Chris, you beat me to it.
Oh, sorry.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's Hugh Grant. It's a Hugh Grant season,
What?
including his action films like Extreme Measures.
It's the Wolverine season, pretty much. He's well
do for 20 years.
It will be when you get to Apocalypse and he's crammed in where he doesn't belong at all. Wolverine.
We're gonna see some huge action.
He will literally be in every single one apart from the last one.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the series.
Okay. Becca, tell us what's next.
Yes, trigger warning alert, as do expect to return with X-Men